Max's health is failing.
We have 8 days of supplies.
Help!
It's not just a question of doing something.
Amy!
It's a question of doing the right thing.
Stop! No!
Yeah, my character, David Gretch. He's not the most likable guy in the world. He's got some issues. He works for a state senator. He's the chief of staff for a state senator. And I don't want to get into too many spoilers or anything, but he's a very ambitious guy. I think he has relatively high opinion of himself, thinks he's capable of leading and taking on a lot more responsibility than he generally has and deals with in life. And then when he finds himself in a very challenging situation, the situation that Deep in the Forest is all about, I don't know that he necessarily rises to the occasion, but he certainly thinks he can. A lot of conflict. It's an interesting thing about playing David because in approaching him, you think about the fact that he's not setting out, no villain, if you will, and I don't think he is a villain, but no bad guy sets out to be a bad guy. I think he has some ideas in mind and how he could genuinely help, but it's very ego-driven. That's really, he's a narcissistic guy. That kind of gets in the way, and you'll see how it unfolds.
Sandy Boyd, my character, was described as being kind of a bureaucrat. So I dug out my copy of Robert's Rules of Order, which I happen to have a copy of. Not that I've ever read the damn thing, but I dug it out because I had it because I used to serve on a committee where the guy running it was very big on Robert's Rules of Order. So I used to take my copy in to show him that I was following his rules. We're like 12 people on the committee. So what do you need all this for? Just go around the room. But that's how Sandy is, and so that's how I got to be. But she's, I think she kind of comes into her own in this whole experience because she gets to use all of her bureaucratic skills in organizing things and keeping things running and making sure that inventory is taken care of and that they have enough food to make them through. And it was very weird after we wrapped the film because we suddenly went into lockdown. And I thought, oh, I've rehearsed for this. Sandy would be better at it than I am.
My character is Nancy Washington, and in her former life, she was quite a serious political activist, very passionate, probably really involved on the front line, I would say, politically. But when we first meet her at the beginning of the film, she's living more of a conventional, comfortable suburban life. She's married to Ethan. He's a hard-working attorney. She has a beautiful little girl. She's an educator. She's a teacher. So what ends up happening in the arc of her character in the film is sort of surprising because you wouldn't necessarily assume from who she is at the beginning that she's capable of becoming the woman who we see at the end of the film.
I play Ethan Washington, who is a civil rights attorney. And it's interesting, when I first read the script, Ethan is not that far from me. He's a guy who wants to do right, by everyone, wants everybody to have a fair shake, at things, which is why I think he went into, civil rights, law as opposed to, defense attorney or that kind of thing. I think that the preparation for me, for Ethan was just understanding, where his center is. For him and where he moves from. And he really is a person, it wasn't that far from me. I'm a Libra by trade. And he wants to see all sides of the equation. So many people come in hot on something and they have a take on it and they go, this is what this is. And Ethan is more of a guy, he's like, wait, okay, I see what you're saying, but there's gotta be more sides to this than is being presented. And I think that's one of the things that allows him to move through this film the way he doesn't move through this situation the way he does. He's like, okay, I get that we're seeing this way, but there's got to be other ways to see this. And I think that's also what makes it difficult for him through this film, is when he's presented with situations where he doesn't feel there are any other options. And the options that are presented are not ones that he wants to take. You know? And that's a really hard place for, what's hard place for him, for me, to move from. To go, what do you mean there are no options? There has to be another option. This can't be the best option. And I love his line on, like, this isn't who we are, right? Like, there's got to be more to this than where we are.
The character I play is Abi Dabiri. She is the newest member of the Democratic Club. She's only been to a few meetings, so we don't really know exactly who she is. You know, she could be a government spy, who knows? And she's extremely observant. She takes in everything around her and what people are saying before she contributes. She's somewhat reserved and doesn't like to ruffle any feathers. But she is methodical and sort of surgical because, well, she's a doctor. She is a neurosurgeon. And she's immediately drawn to Max, Stu's character, who has a medical issue. So for her, it's second nature and it's what she does best. So she's really drawn to him and gives him that care. And during this strange situation, it's kind of her normal, where she gets to play the doctor and he the patient.